Seriously.
What's gonna be a good one? Waiting for that. Oh yeah. It's cracking on. It's been 6 minutes. And like I said, my beloved ones, people that come in and can't hang. Original Lone Wolf just called. I don't know why he's not coming over to the live. He said he's subscribed. He checked it. So, you know, I told him, you know, everybody knows if your notifications on, it'll show up. That's why we always have to check it. I check everybody's notification. A lot of y'all not doing videos. I even went to people who are on my other page and subscribe to them, but you can't send messages on here. So I comment on there, on some of y'all. If you came over, it's because, you know, I commented on your post. I can't remember everybody, because, you know, everybody that's, if I saw, like, I had 10 new subscribers, like, right before I had like 12. So I went and subscribed to everyone, you know. I didn't say hi and I like that, I just subscribed. You might have, some of y'all was the only subscriber. You only had like 2 things up or something like that. So So we're gonna get into it. I want to talk about a couple of things. I guess maybe. Excuse me. That's really good. That's mango, pineapple, banana, and omega-3. You know, the good stuff. All right. And I actually had a bison venison burger with 22 grain. I like grain. I don't eat a lot of it. Trust me, don't. It can really knock you up. And with like a head of iceberg lettuce, a big fat slice of tomato, horseradish mustard, and a big slab of red onion. So it's mostly a vegetable sandwich. The bison and venison very small, with a lot of onions and curry and cayenne pepper. Very spicy, very spicy. And I ate that, and I was like, you know what? This is the only meal, and I'm having the smoothie, so I'm gonna be pretty bloated, all the way because I gotta leave early in the morning, or the AM, just to have everything packed up that needs to be packed up down by the door. I'm probably gonna sleep down here tonight, watch some movies and stuff, with a little bit, because he's got his spot over there. He loves his blanket and Charisma's old blanket, which I had when Charisma was a puppy. When I brought Charisma home after the training in Mount Vernon, my service sister. So she likes to have Charisma's blanket on top of her blanket when I rescued her with. So, and she does it however she wants. If I put that on the bottom, I had to check. She doesn't want to lay up on hers. She's got to have Charisma's on top. Don't even ask. And that's going to probably be where I'm going with this. For those who believe in the Matrix, we know that words are frequency, right? We know that music is a frequency, right? And in the Bible it tells you, and God, him, she, or whatever, spoke, and we came into existence. Spoke and the water was there, moved, hovered over it. We believe God to be this thing because they say in our image. I think that's an allusion to the New World Order. Like when they came here, this is the old world. They called it the New World. Are you aware why? They were speaking energy into something they believed to facilitate. And they had to destroy the remnants of the old world. And they didn't destroy it all. And when I say destroy that frequency, that power, that complex power. And they couldn't do it with war. If that were the case, we would have been gone long ago. And now we are the residual of that energy, that frequency. And I'm gonna break that down just a little more. And I know it's hard for people to accept this, but are you really aware? Like when I speak negative towards certain things, China gangs, this and other, it's not because I have hate. It's because it is a negative energy. So I'm gonna speak negative energy into that. I'm not gonna give it none of my positive, powerful energy. And that's to reflect on me telling you, if you ever feel like, and you feels like that nerves or whatever, nervous, that is all that's part of who you are, the dynamics of the numbers, the hertz. We are crystalline. This is in some format, like the metaverse. I don't like using that term. I'm using it so you have a clearer understanding. We are physical, but yet we're tangible, yet we are so much more. This is actually a carbon crystalline form that's based upon frequencies. Can you destroy them? Can we destroy a crystal? Do we ever really get rid of it? Well, they don't. They say pulverize and make it into dust. Well, it's still here, isn't it? Can it reform? Depending on what actually is tangible by sight. We don't see it, but see, unbeknownst to us, it does reform. We just don't see it because we are being pulverized. And with us, it's maleficent. It's a very slow process. And they've alluded that to death. The issue at hand is a lot of you don't know that you move at a frequency. Otherwise, they wouldn't have you believing in a fake outer space and fake satellites. Satellite only means something in the air. My drone is a satellite when it's flying, when it's hovering or defying order, establishing another form of order to which we can also do. But regardless of that, right now, like the TV, music, all in particular, music is usually at a very wonderful, beautiful gigahertz or hertz. The thing is, they have, because of John D. Rockefeller. I believe it was 1890 something. Radios weren't new, y'all. It's just new as far as the dynamic of teaching people that new, just like the camera and everything else. In 1933, it was by then, and everybody argued for it not to happen, but he slowly did it because, he bought companies out, people died, blah, 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 pulverized, whatever. And he manifested taking beautiful music on the radio and converting it to 440 hertz at dead zone. Why? Because it brings us closer into the Luciferian, the denial of the creator or creation, the denial of who we are as a whole, and it, through a slow process, mitigated other factors that were very minuscule. Now it's everywhere, so they have the repeaters, all right, the repeaters, and they have those big antennae that push out and receive to keep it circling. Y'all call it HARP and all these other different names. No, it's a big system of destruction. The octagonal or the triangular, as below for them. And I know it's hard to utilize that. Like I said, the Star of David has nothing to do with Hebraicism or the ancient people. It has everything to do with paganism, Kabbalah, this and another. As I told you about Ishtar, Baal, they're all the same. The thing is, they have everybody worshiping that because the frequency has everybody in denial and lost in their true frequency. That's why it's so hard for people to be able to hold themselves when they're meditating, when they want to elevate. We talk a good game, but the thing is how to be able to put it into practical use when most people really don't know how to. Now, why am I stating this? Let's go ahead and shut this off right quick. I know it's beautiful sounding. We'll turn it back on for those who are adorned by that. I really don't need music. I just do that because I know that people, it could be comforting to. So we have here, I expressed to you already that the God everybody's worshiping is Inanna. Now we believe because of the statues of old, this, that, and other, that it's a female. Yet there's Inannas with wings, like the cherubim with a foot on the lion's back. That looks like a male. And I said that, I told you all, it's associated with sex, divine law, and political power. As you know, as I'm reading, whether it be the giants and whether it's the DNA of the gods, the 13th tribe, to which you're reading I'm reading a lot about this stuff. Behold a pale horse. We've already circumvented some of those fake gods. They're not so much that they're fake. We have lost contact because we can't raise ourselves to a higher frequency because we have so many blocking factors to mitigate us in this lost zone. You remember the dead zone? Remember the movie? The dead zone is like white noise, but it's not clear. You dig what I'm saying? You feel me? Okay? And I'm going to get to that here in a minute. And also the heaven bearers, where circumferent, everything that I'm reading about is to assist you in seeing other things. I have to be very careful because I can actually script something that has nothing to do with anything. Anywho, so we know Inanna is based on the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians under the name Ishtar, and occasionally Logoram, and a number of other of their gods. But what I want you to understand, how are they accomplishing it? Us to have us deny the presence of the creation, to make us worship when creation needs no worship, but for us to be affluent in walking in it. We're supposed to be walking in beauty and comfort and love, without destruction, without harm, without all these diseases and everything else. This is done by that which hates everything living. And I know it's hard to make it practical because there's so many people who believe they're teaching people and they're fluent in teaching people. And there's many individuals who can break this stuff down to a quantum physics like realm, because this is math. Whether people want to believe it or not, it's math. When I look at China Mac, I look at what I can go back years of all kind of things. Ted Bundy, Wayne Gacy, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's thousands. Jeffrey Dahmer. The frequencies, and they were very easily swayed into the perversion, not only by the frequency, but the lifestyles who are also caught up in these bad frequencies that deem the way people live. You look at transgenderism, right? They want that to be accepted because it's out of order. And the people who are affected are the ones easily susceptible. They could have been serial killers. Some may be. They could have been very bad people. Their neck was to confusion. And people now want to push it through using all these psychotherapists and this, that, and other, as if it's not confusion. And this is where we get into the layman's ideology of it all. And we get into the universe to which is connected and alive. And we are a part of the metric of space. It's a space continuum. The thing is, we're being blocked from seeing all that true prosperity that has nothing to do with the physical world. The physical world is a blocking factor. And these individuals who know it, who are protected somewhat from the sounds, if you only knew the walls and the homes and underground where they live, where they're not affected by this. Do you know if you can take yourself and put yourself away from the 5 gigahertz, and the 440, the 808, if you can take yourself and put yourself away from that for just 5 or 6 months, away from it, do you know how much clearer and cleaner you become? If you know how to fast, to be able to fight this fast and to exercise the mind in a better place, to not condition it more in fear, that you become more practical on the other side of the realm of things. Well, anyway, we know that A440 is the dead zone. It messes everyone up. When you get caught doing something, or you start caught up doing something or doing it, you don't know why it is you have a hard time stopping. Do you know that everybody smokes a cigarette can stop? But why can't they? Because their frequencies are deliberately being interrupted. So it's a fluctuation, and it's not good. There's no straight binary cause. The DNA, the diamine nucleic acid, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you know that, I forget how to pronounce it, that's sad. It's being disrupted from repairing and regeneration on major scale levels. I'm talking about, like, chop your head off, I put it on your neck, and it grows back, because the brain lives anywhere from 20 seconds to 5 minutes. It is attempting to reconnect, but there's too much going on. And then if you keep them separated, as what used to happen, and then once they were completely dead, in the morgue or whatever they want to call it, a deathbed, and these are by the Luciferians. It doesn't matter what you believe. Then they put the bodies together. The source is gone from them. So the body starts to crystallize and break down into fluids. The pulverization, the physical pulverization, starts taking place. The metaphysical is the one that put people in the position to be harmed innocently or guilty, but guilty by what proxy? By the system that incorporated it, created it. The fiat, the dollar, whether gold or silver was even part of it, or jewels, it doesn't matter. There were some more susceptible. Many of the people today are more susceptible, unbeknownst to them. A equals 432 frequency, DNA tuning, and the bastardization of music. You hear me? A equal 432 frequency, DNA tuning, and the bastardization of music. You doubt me. Let's see if we can. This is by Matthew Bowen. This is one of plenty I've got on here. But I thought this one might benefit y'all a little more. I'm surprised. Who's in here? Rondo. Hey, sir, what's going on? That's y'all. Only y'all too? Anyway, I told people I was going live, but you know how it is. The frequency is real. This is written by Brennan D. Murphy. According to the Mind Unleashed, humankind, and you can pick up the Mind Unleashed, humankind is the largely unwitting victim of a frequency war on our consciousness that has been waged for decades, if not millennia. The goal has clearly been to keep us as gullible and subservient as possible through multifarious means, or nefarious. In modern, multifarious means a placard of different things. Nefarious means with a very obscured eye that's acute to the destruction of who you are and I am. In modern history in particular, there has been what Dr. Lynn Howitz has referred to as the strategic militarization of music. This happened in 1939. I said 33. It is 33, but 39 is what we're going to run with. Maybe that's when it was applied. When the tuning of the note A above middle C to 440 hertz was adopted in the world of music. In 1910, that means tuning. Those instruments, when you hear orchestras, they changed the binary. Remember I said the ancient oldest organ that was pulled from over here, I believe was it Chicago or somewhere like that, Louisiana? Was it Chicago? No, it was St. Louis, I believe. Played over, what was it? How many millions of different tones and sounds? It was to hell. And they had to destroy that before anything. And what they did was stole it away, broke it down. They can't even get it to work right, trust me. Anyway, when the tuning of the note A above middle C to 440 hertz was adopted in the world of music in 1910, an earlier push to effect the same change was met with limited success. But three decades later now, the British Standards Institute, BSI, adopted the A440 hertz. And we know they are the central part of all the things of destruction. Now, peep this now. This is standards following staunch promotion of the Rockefeller Nazi Consortium. At the precise time, and why are we still dealing with the Rockefellers in here in the G8? And all of them are related. Anyway, following staunch promotion, all right, anyway, precise time, World War II preparations were being finalized by the petrochemical pharmaceutical war financiers. This was the year that A440 became the international standard. When I tell you all these governments move along together, they do. Rommel was part of that. So was Hitler really killed, or was he part of a bigger dynamic? I told you they all were related. He didn't die, people. Okay, let's pay attention. Only reason why, what's his name, Mussolini and his wife were murdered, and some people say they might have been stand-ins, but a lot of people said no, they weren't able to evade and hide, as they were almost successful in doing, and they were caught. And it's just part of the, that sacrifice. Anyway, the American Federation of Musicians had already accepted the A440 as standard pitch in 1917. And the United States government followed suit in 1920. Did you hear that? The American Federation of Musicians had already accepted the A440 as standard pitch in 1917, and the U.S. government followed suit in 1920. One must surely ask why Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels argued for this odd intrusion into musical creativity, persuading Hitler's supposed enemies in Britain to adopt the superior standard tuning for the Aryan master race. What did the Nazis and their secretive, by well-documented U.S. financiers have to gain from this? We see that idiot, Shaw, right? You know who his father was. Okay. So the NIH, pay attention. It is interesting also to note that in October 1953, despite the British and Nazi push for the arbitrary A440 standard, which is this harmonic, the vice is a vice in this physioacoustic laws of creation governing reality. A referendum of 23,000 French musicians voted overwhelmingly in favor of A432 hertz. You know they were Luciferians. Many musicians through recent centuries, I'm using that loosely, it's broader than Luciferian. Trust me. That's just a name. Recent centuries, but that's so you have a clear understanding to Jinn, darkness, evil. In recent centuries have expressed their strong preference for the A432 reference pitch. This A432 hertz, in brackets, tuning was unanimously approved at the Congress of Italian Musicians in 1881 and recommended by the physicists Joseph Sauveur and Felix Sauvat, as well by the Italian scientist Bartolomeo Grassi Lendi. The vibration of sound. And what is vibration? It's based upon frequency. Isn't it intermittent or breaking of light, fraction with darkness? Boom, 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 boom. According to preliminary research analysis and professional discussions by Walton Kohler Reed, etc. et al., on the web, A440 hertz frequency music conflicts with human energy centers, your chakras, all 7 platforms. Whether it's 5 or 7, it matters not. It does. From the heart to the base of the spine, the lower 4, alternately chakras above the heart are stimulated. Theoretically, the vibration stimulates ego and left brain function only, suppressing the heart-mind intuition and creative inspiration. That's why by removing your wisdom teeth, it makes for a clearer opening and enter. Because before the wisdom teeth were extracted, everybody had them. There are people I know who have all their wisdom teeth. I have 2 of mine, the other 2 gone. There's a reason. Anyway, suppressing the heart-mind intuition and creative inspiration. Interestingly, the difference between 440 and 741 hertz is known as musicology, as the devil's interval, which is based on 528 and 744 combined. And we get the 808s, which all music right now hits on with that doom, doom, doom. And we think it's power. It's a false representation of power outside of you. Therefore, the internal power is subjected and given away. You give it to something when that's nothing that goes outside and makes you weaker. Anyway, for maximum suppression of human consciousness, the frequencies we naturally resonate with and which are the most biologically and psycho-spiritually enhancing, must be maximally suppressed. Ancient Egyptian and Greek instruments have reportedly been found to, and I'm telling you, ancient Egypt was right here. I don't care what anybody feels. It is and it still is. Anyway, must be maximally suppressed. Ancient Egyptian and Greek as well instruments have reportedly been found to be tuned to 432 hertz. As far as many guitarists are concerned, a 432 hertz seems to be the most practical, optimal, and most bio-friendly resonating tune we have, although many musicians have also favored A44, 444 hertz, which belongs to a different scale where C 528 hertz mitigates. But there's more. The cochlea, the part of the inner ear that converts acoustic impulses into electrical signals your brain reads, all right, has a seashell-like spiral shape. You know when you pick up the seashell and those who learn how to blow in the hole, that is the most resounding, resonating, healing. And that's why I tell if you can get a hole, one of those with the hole cut perfectly, I think it's the 3, 6, or 9 line, and you blow in that, like the shofar horn of the ram, no, the seashell. That's the key. Anyway, let me go on. A bilateral cross-section of the cochlea is mathematically describable through the Fibonacci series, which is the golden ratio of pi, as manifest in nature. And we're dealing with 8 hertz. Repeat this. According to Chas Stoddard, in A Short History of Tuning and Temperament, very good book, this fractality recursiveness allows octaves to be decoded at the same point in each layer of the spiral, and may therefore be why we can discern octaves at all. And in parentheses states, meaning that without this cochlea design, we would just hear pitch rising or lowering. We would not be able to identify that, for example, 256 hertz C as 512 hertz also. The octave concept, which would be almost meaningless and sonically undetectable. Now, the octave concept is based upon, excuse me, that stuff is good. The entire universe, hold on. This thing must have, now they want to, I guess they're bothered by what I'm teaching you guys. Anyway, the entire universe is made of energy which vibrates at a certain frequency, and we are in our universe. And the vibration of that frequency determines its form. Although this is a well-known fact, the question is, how can you apply it to create more beauty and well-being in your life and accelerate your personal evolution? This is the vibration and laws of octaves. The answer is DNA activation, a method based upon fundamentals of vibration. Well, if you have a dead zone and it's pushed on everybody all around, can you really tap into the natural hemisphere above you and below, as above as below, to which you're supposed to be able to mitigate to have an expression flowing outside of you? From its state of wholeness, the universe splits into billions of galaxies, asteroids, and planets. I would break that down for you, but y'all should know what that means. People, lands, the air we breathe. It's real simple, people. In the human body, we call them cells, molecules, and atoms. That's right, people. Galaxies, asteroids, and planets. Well, the truth is, they're cells, molecules, and atoms. But the patterns of evolution and expansion are the same. The single cell goes from being 1 to 2, then 4, 8, and so on, until the amazing universe of the human body exists, where everything vibrates at a certain frequency, holding different expressions of form and structures within the unified whole. There are certain laws within which these vibrations work. For example, Newton's 3 laws of motion, or the law of octaves, the functioning of energy within octaves or frequencies. Since the entire universe is made of energy, including ourselves, our being also vibrates within octaves of frequencies. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm sharing more than enough for you to be able to research. So you look at the octave concept, okay? Now, the Fibonacci series is the golden ratio of pi, which is not complicated at all, for those of you who love music as I do. But not the music that we're hearing right now, because the music is all in your head. We are here at the cusp of the golden age, the age of nature, where natural order will return to balance the earth. The way of this natural order can be understood by applying a universal system called the golden ratio. The golden ratio is a pattern that nature follows in the construction of all its art and beauty. It is the order within the apparent chaos of nature, the apparent chaos which y'all are witnessing. Although it doesn't always appear that way, everything is aligned in perfect harmony in the order of the golden ratio. What is the golden ratio? The golden ratio is the principle of exponential evolution instead of growing in a linear formation of 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Evolution is by nature essentially exponential. The golden ratio describes the rate at which the exponential growth unfolds. In mathematics, the two quantities are in the golden ratio if their ratio is the same as the ratio of their sum to the larger of the two quantities. And the basic premise is that you take two numbers, add them, and the sum total of those two numbers comprises the third number in the evolutionary sequence. That means breaking the distraction. And the fourth number is then determined by the sum of the greatest two of the three. As an example, 1 plus 1 equals 2. The greater of the sum, 2 plus 1 equals 3, or 2 plus 2 equals 4, or 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7, right? No, it equals 8. Come on, people. See, this is what I'm talking about. 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, and it goes on. 3 plus 5 equals 8, okay? And 5 plus 3, 8, 13, and so on and so on. That is the beauty of order. It is nothing that we were taught the importance of it in a way that's not dynamic, but a purpose to keep people stuck in perpetual purgatory, to add change, count money, to count bodies, to count lives as truths. 1 plus 1 plus 1, never ending. And we believe that we're always finding an end. And look at what they're attempting to do right now. It's going to happen unless we change it. But we cannot change it outside of us. Anywho, somehow Austrian genius visionary Rudolf Steiner, 1861 to 1915, 25, isn't that vicariously a weird time when all this really took hold? Was onto all of this, he said. Music based on C, 128 hertz. C note in concert of A, 432 hertz, will support humanity on its way towards spiritual freedom. The inner ear of the human being is built on C, 128 hertz. Well, the fact that pi golden ratio is so key in morphogenesis, the biological process that causes an organism to develop its shape. This is based upon truth. I told you about the stone, and when I was in school, all right, and we took that big copper and put it on that cinder block, that mason stone, and I had them all get around and us all huddled together, and we started all humming, and it started shaking. And the teacher was looking, and he's like, that's because all your voices are focusing on the copper. It's bigger than that. We caused it to start cutting a hole. It started going around from us finally getting the tune. We all got focused in. Everybody's eyes got big and they start seeing it directly. Everybody started going harder. And it started cutting a little line into the masonry stone. And I said, that's enough. We got to get back to class where we get in trouble. The teacher was shooken. Anywho, in humans and throughout nature, suggests that there may be an interesting yet little known relationship between the galactic harmonic of 432 that shows up in our solar system and the golden ratio, our solar system. A432 is bioneutral at worst and is widely considered bioenergetically, excuse me, it jumped out at me, enhancing or healing if employed intentionally. Meditation music at 432 hertz is certainly relaxing and soothing, though I don't consider there to be anything transformative about it. And transformative measures are what we so desperately need to intercede in our collective path at this time. As a musician and someone who uses the solfeggio frequencies to form DNA and Kundalini activations for people who seek those healings and evolutionary services, I would actually go so far as to argue that at this point in our history, the solfeggio C at 528 hertz and not 512 hertz may be even more valuable, to which it is, to us in our search for reconnection to self and source, and most definitely facilitates people's unplugging from the matrix. Remember the other day I was telling you that when you're playing music and I put on 528, and I know what it feels like because I have the little copper bowl, little brass bowl, and that frequency right here makes birds start chirping, I have to be barefoot, dang near butt naked when I'm doing it, makes my eyes water, makes my body tense up and then release. Like just from doing it, I get stuck. And I'm like, and I know it's good because I feel totally different. On the television, it's monitored, and regardless of what it says, it's coming out on a bilane. Remember that interruption of frequency with 440 in it? And then 440 corrupts. As if I was to read further, and if you want to read this, I'll tell you where to go. And there's so much more, because then it starts getting down and it starts explaining, and I'll go down to that to explain to you when we're talking about, it is no coincidence that the wavelength of visible light at 528 nms is also green. And that's why I say when it's important to go outside and look and feel, not just walk around, but feel the red spectrum that comes from the sun. That is a healing, and that's what causes us to create vitamin D, supposedly, from what I've heard, and I believe it's to be factual. And where is the electric guitar, which we know about 528? We know that's beneficial. The perversion is going to be further down, and it's going to talk about the frequency I mentioned up top and how the cycle of all of them are destroyed from 7.83 to 8 hertz, which the earth and we move on. Okay? So C equals 544 hertz, not 554 hertz. You see, these are the things that they are able to mitigate and play with, because this is what they do. They test all this stuff, with their fake trillions of dollars, where everybody's running around broke and not having the notion to do this, because you're the experiment. And it proves them that they look at what's going on in the world and they know frequencies is the answer that can destroy, and it's also one that can heal. That's why John D. Rockefeller created petroleum-based medicine, which is not medicine at all, and then took over the cancer, what you call it, and bought that out after murdering a couple of people to further perpetrate a fraud upon the people and continue his drastic, his satanic, or whatever you want to call it. All right. A nutcase of all nutcases who had the sense to do the things that we see. And the sense doesn't mean that it's always good. Anyway, again, to mitigate what I'm saying is, and a lot of people have a hard time interpreting, is that 741 hertz. Not 741 hertz is not bad, but when you got that with 528 plus, you got 808s and 440, we're in the dead zone. You have to raise your frequency. It's not going to happen. The damn doctors aren't going to do it, because they are also scripted in. Going to somebody who was called, what do they call them? Holistic. There's a few that probably know to have chimes and stuff like that. But the majority, they believe in what you eat and what you think. But what you think, excuse me, What you think doesn't mean it's practical. And if you want to look, read that, go and look at LinkedIn, LinkedIn, and pay attention to what it's saying about 432 frequency, DNA tuning, and the bastardization of music. And if you want to go beyond that, go to the 528 records or the healing benefits of 528 hertz, not A 528, which is 544 or C, but 528 hertz, 369, 432, just plain old. The ones that are litigated before it is called the devil's interval. You don't believe me? Look it up. I just wanted to share a little bit of that with y'all. You have to manifest and change the frequencies. And most people that work on these platforms is calling people out in sports and everywhere. It doesn't matter who performs this way or that way. There's a reason why certain people don't have TVs and stuff in their homes. Even though the acoustic effect is all around, okay? That's what 5G is. They've got everybody believing this satellite and this, that. No, it's a bad, it increases the radon. Your concrete, and rebar foundation, it's a perversion. Marble, it wouldn't be able to get through. Marble, you wouldn't have radon. All that had to be destroyed and buried. They couldn't move it and take all that weight nowhere. They buried it right in plain sight. You would say, well, if it's buried, then why does it affect? Well, there's many factors. You have to have the knowledge that if you break the body down physically, we shouldn't be eating 3 or 4 times a day. One time should be more than enough, but we've become overweight. We've allowed them to poison us with toxic FD yellows and reds and greens and sugars that are, and processed crap. These scientists are no good. So if you know someone says, I'm going to be a bioengineer, remember their face. You know someone says, I'm going to be a scientist. That's why you don't never see them unless there's a little document that comes out. And they're doing it because there's enough ignorant, woke individuals who don't know no better, who have become the him-shims or whatever. All right? While you still have plausible detection within you, you need to tap into this, get that right side hemisphere working, man and woman, and remove the dynamics of this intrusion and become the dynamics of the order. When they came and found this world, the first thing they did, knowing that this place was all here, they said the new world. Why? Because they wanted to create a new world order. And in order to do so, they must destroy the old world. Y'all don't get it still, do you? Everything that you believe to be truthful and factual is a lie. I laugh at the people who's going, oh man, Egypt ain't over here in America. And certain people y'all follow of the Yamasee Nation and certain individuals who are doing some great documents, but they don't know no better. But you still follow them. I got a brother who I love. He's talking about, yeah, but Phoenix Moon. The hell with Phoenix. She's part of the province, part of the dynamics. But when you have factors mitigating, regardless of how good, I can sit down and have 100 people I could talk to on podcasts right now. I can still use to do a podcast. I don't have to have it to YouTube. Yeah, did y'all know that? Yeah, that's right. So anyway, following certain individuals shows that you need to feed off of something there that's not going to fulfill you or satiate you. I'm not here to satiate you. I'm here to satiate the mind concept to be better in tune to repair itself, and for you to look at the sources and references and utilize them. I'm here to drop little tea here and there. You dig what I'm saying? I don't care about the secret orders and this, that, and other. They have got everybody in their grips. And if people actually knew better, fuck doing better. They would change to manifest better. Order is so wonderful that people refuse the wonder of order. And they would accept a perverse. Is that not enlighten or shine a light on the reality of how subjugated and subverted the most powerful beings? I don't care about crayon colors, white, black, yellow, red, all that foolishness. They had to do that, and if they could divide the people and make them war with each other, you're not getting it, are you? So me going in on Phoenix or China Magazine, no, they are a negative connotation until they mitigate change. Until Phoenix Moon wakes the fuck up. Until people stop following people who are not beneficial or healthy for them. And I bet you now people are going to start talking about this stuff. Only because I just mentioned it. Now, the other people who have been talking about this stuff for years and decades are the people who are attempting to reach out to you. A lot of them are gone. But the thing is, you aren't going to look for it because you won't even allow yourself to be practical in who you are. Everything is outside of you. I remember telling y'all about make eye-to-eye contact with yourself in the mirror or with your partner, your loved ones, your children, and to get over the fear of the darkness you see, because you will see darkness because you exude darkness, and they do too, sadly. Only a baby, if you make eye-to-eye contact, because a baby looks at you eye-to-eye when they look at you. You look at one eye because you're not focused. You don't know no better. You have lost that reality. Are you getting what I'm saying? I think I'm going to come back later and do a reading because 48 minutes, an hour, I want to keep this very little. So when I come back on in about 2.5 hours, I want to drink my shake. Got that flax in there, boy. 2 tablespoons. I need this right now. I weighed in at 202 pounds, 201 pounds, 200. I was like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not bragging. Y'all can still donate. I know it's a handful of people here, and it's the people who've been donating anyway. I'm at 200. Did anybody do? Did somebody donate? I gotta look because I don't stay stuck on there. Where is this thing doing that? Where's my tablet? Are they that? I got these people scared. It's still 200. I screenshot it on my damn phone. The books, the 3 books I'm getting. Anyway, I know it's I said 265. It's 258.95. So I matched that and I can get those 3 books. So, and I gotta get on the road tomorrow. Y'all know I got bank account. Like I got 3 different bank accounts. I gotta close one of them. I think Wells Fargo's about to get scrapped. So I gotta make a call. I need that check to go over to my credit union, and if it falls through, it falls through. I'm good. I got food to last me a couple of years. Water, I can purify the most worst of water, and I know how to find it. Now, if the whole Earth, this part of Earth, decides to cave into a big recess of a mile long, deep city, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not worried about it. You get what I'm saying? You gotta not worry. You've gotta push through, y'all. The veil was always lifted. The problem is nobody could look past the blinders. All right? I was hoping to be able to purchase the books this week, and I guess not. Maybe next week. I don't know. Hope to get 500. It happened quick on the other one. Hopefully it happens here. And there were people who came here, and they reached out, and people came and joined in. They didn't know to go ahead and subscribe, to keep checking up the subscription because YouTube started playing because the agenda came around. But get people out there, tell them, hey, look, I know how you feel. I know Red stirred you the wrong way, this, that, and other, but you really need to come and pay attention to them. And maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Okay? I really am about this. And I'm going to read every one of these books. So when I set it up, it's going to be exactly, I think they said 30 seconds. So it's going to be 30 seconds of some probably deep, dark country western or something, right? And then we're going to get right into reading. And I want to keep it within a 40-minute period. So a paragraph maybe of each book. The Heaven Bearers, I'll read a little more of that, okay? But every other book, so we got 7 to 8 books right here. We'll get through those. I'm not going to entice you with other books. I'll do that tomorrow morning before I head out. It's going to be early. I might just do a video tonight once I got everything packed up and then upload it, or I'll go live and just do a little quick read before heading out. All right. So I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm going to give you, I can't believe only 4 people came up in here. Wow. Surrender. And when I saw, hey Etta, Alicia Cooper was cracking. Hey everybody, oh, it's good to see y'all. I got five people come in, and I got 4 likes, and I know I had 3 more come in and took a look. This is amazing. I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming in. I guess. No, I don't guess. I know the 440 hertz was working. I know that people are broken, and it doesn't matter what's said or displayed. You cannot make people not want to be destroyed. They put everything before them and never themselves. And I don't mean in a selfish way, but right now people need to be selfish as far as their truth and who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing at how. And see, you would think that because I'm not saying something, I'm thinking you would think that I'm conflicted. Not at all. I'm looking at 12 different ways I can say it. Any of y'all do that? This is not the great I am, for I am great. You need to know how powerful you really are. But the thing is, I don't want to. It's a slippery slope if I decide to go ahead and get gimmicky and use certain word phrases to bring people, entice people in. I'm not here for the masses, sadly. I would love to be. And I'm here for the few. But I'm not going to do that. It's not hard. It's very easy. I'm a writer. It's easy. And I fight that. That's that 440. I fight it because I know what I can do. I know how I can entice. I know how I can develop and bring people in. I know how I can drag people in. It's so easy. I don't want to do that. I really, really don't. On Facebook, I go over there through Instagram and I give everybody the business. I curse everybody out. I tell them what pieces of excrement they are. And then I give them some good stuff. You know what it is? I'm tickling their fancy. I'm allowing some of them with carpal tunnel syndrome of the brain to manifest and see that, okay, something makes sense. The rest of them, it might sound harsh, but I have no time to care about where they're at. I'll keep doing it as long as it allows me until certain other people start picking up that James is playing a game. I look serious because I'm serious. But people manifested in something different because their whole world is based on a false representation of the matrix, a new world, and they're not even in order with the old. They are so out of tune, they don't remember to have a childlike, not heart, but a heart and mind. When it says have a childlike heart, it's a description, a direction. Not just a description, it's a direction, excuse me, a little faster. It's a direction giving you guidance. So yes, I am plausible when I state I don't trust the Bible nor respect the literary of it. Yet I know its origin. I know that we're not supposed to be worshiping a damn thing. I know that we're supposed to be not praising a damn thing. We're supposed to be appreciative and enjoying and loving. Order never needed us to worship, to praise, to speak anything of relevance to anything because we existed as one. Who would want to disrupt that and break that? Somebody obviously not of here. I hope you share this. I hope you bring people over. I hope you express to people the importance that, and don't be selfish in sharing whatever it is I might have to share. I can't give it all, but I'll give a little bit at a time. I'm not here to stop anything. I'm just here to see people see things for what it is. All right. So, my brothers and sisters, I love y'all. All right. I have to hit my sisters first, even though I said brothers. All right. My brothers, you know it's always a 2-on-1 salute. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down in 2 hours, and I'm going to set it up. I am going to set it right up. 2 hours and 10 minutes. No, 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're going to come back, and we're going to read and enjoy the read. All right? I appreciate you guys.